What the faults we see in others tell us about us. We all have certain cravings within us, such as lust or greed. And our mind has a peculiar characteristic. What is present inside it, it sees outside. Thus, if there is lust or greed inside us, we often notice those objects that promise to fulfill those cravings, as well as those people who are pandering to those cravings. And if we are also trying to control these cravings and are trying to develop a conscience, then sometimes these cravings cunningly co-opt that underdeveloped conscience. How? By making us feel angry toward others who pander to those cravings, rather than feeling angry with ourselves for pandering to the cravings. So, when we see someone indulging, because that craving is still there within us, we subconsciously or privately feel envious about them, that they are getting an opportunity to enjoy, whereas publicly we condemn those people for being so materialistic and licentious. Thus the faults we condemn are present within us, though they manifest differently, not through indulgence, but through vehemence toward indulgence. This applies not just to cravings, but also to ideological orientations. Sometimes liberals criticize conservatives for being intolerant. But then, when those liberals gain power, they often become just as intolerant in condemning or even censoring the conservatives. We need to know that whenever we obsess over the faults of others, we end up becoming, we may not manifest those faults exactly the same way, but we don't become the opposite also. By condemning lust or greed, we don't become free from lust or greed. Rather, we become their mirrors. A mirror shows the same object, but 180 degree rotated. Similarly, our rage towards others' faults may well reveal the fault, that same fault present within us in a different way. So whenever we feel angry when someone does something wrong, rather than condemning them, we can pause to check whether that same fault is present within us, and our anger, our rage toward that person is simply a deflection or distortion of the rage that is meant to be directed towards us. So encouraging such self-examination, the Bible, Matthew says that, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Predating that message, the Bhagavad-gita states, 16:2, apaishunam, aversion to fault finding, is a characteristic of the godly nature. Indeed, the faults we hold others guilty of are often the faults we ourselves are guilty of.